Hey, folks, welcome to the live stream. Sorry about the delay there. We ran into some technical difficulties totally on my end, so my apologies about that. Um, this is what happens when you get too relaxed with the technology. Anyway, I hope you are all doing well. I hope you are having a great weekend. If you are here, again, sorry about the delay, but if you're here, hit me up in the chat. Let me know you're available. With this one, we are going to be watching Battle Under the Stars from Tales of the Ring. It's like a 10-minute short, and then we'll be discussing that as well as watching or listening to a song from Cara N, who is a singer, and she did a song, the song of the kinslaying. It's about the Battle of Alqualande. So that ought to be interesting. Both of those were sent to me by our own Macaru 112. So yeah, let me know in the chat who's here. If you guys are here, if Anthony's here, I know it's 1 a.m. where you are. So let me know if you guys are here, and we'll get started with the live stream. Again, my apologies for the delay. The technical issues were on my end. Our resident moderator is Mrs. J Just J, so Mrs. J Just J can say hello in the chat if she feels like it. There's Anthony. Hey, buddy. Sorry about that. Sorry about the delay, man. I know it's like in the middle of the night for you, and it was still delayed, and that just makes me feel that much worse. So sorry about that, buddy. Again, technical issues on my part. So sorry. And there's Shady J. All right. So we got folks here. All right, I'm glad I fixed it and resolved the issue. Couldn't figure out what the hell was going on. Let's see. I think we're also waiting on Macaru since he's the one that sent me this stuff. So Macaru, let me know when you're in there, and we'll get started on this. I hope everyone's had a good week. Oh, also, in addition to watching Battle Under the Stars from Tales of the Ring, as well as the Song of the Kinslaying, if we have time, okay. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, I'm glad. Sorry again. I'm glad it wasn't too much of an inconvenience for you. Sorry about that. One of the other things is I came up with some artwork. Just to give you guys a little bit of backstory, I've been doing a lot of working with, as you know, I'm a filmmaker and or aspiring filmmaker, I guess, and visual effects guy. So I've been really getting into lately, in my downtime, this working with this AI image generation stuff. I don't know if you guys have heard about it, like Stable Diffusion and Midjourney and some of these AI image creation tools, and came up with a couple of logos. Like again, I don't know about the whole merch thing. Like I've never been a big person for like, oh, like you're a YouTube channel that sells branded t-shirts and hats, but I mean it's something, it's cool. I mean, if I could come up with something that people like really like were interested in, I would definitely consider it. But I came up with a couple of options for like the profile pic, because for the channel, like the profile pic is like my freaking mug, sitting there with my sunglasses on, and I don't know, I always felt like that was a little bit arrogant, like, hey, check out my channel and here's this cool picture of me, and I'm not that guy. So I came up with some AI generated stuff that's sort of in line with the general vibe of the show. And so I came up with like 5 different images, and I figured I would let whoever shows up in the chat to you guys would ultimately decide which one will become the channel's profile picture, not the banner picture, not the big banner picture, but the profile picture. And after we hit the videos and the song and stuff like that, we'll touch on that. Also, I'll give an update on what's been going on with Mrs. J Just J's book, The Knights of Temuin, the Crimson Born trilogy, because there's been some movement with that. Again, I'm sort of like doing like the illustrations on that one. She's been doing a lot of work in addition to coming up with the story and the characters and writing the actual book itself. I'm sort of like doing like the companion. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like a scribe. Like I'm sort of doing the companion stuff because she's come up with like maps for locations and stuff. Very very following in the footsteps of Tolkien. So yes, Mrs. J just J, or Shady J, is doing all us Tolkien fans proud, because she's really taken the time to do world building and giving it depth, not just the surface level fantasy stuff. She's giving it some depth. So I will go over some of that as well, like in terms of showing some of the artwork that I've been sort of compiling based on locations that are in her book, as well as maybe show you guys like the map that she came up with wholly on her own. And I must say I'm pretty impressed. I was like, that's a pretty detailed freaking map you got going on there. So yeah, so that's gonna be stuff. But I figured we'll hit the main stuff first, which is watching the Battle Under the Stars and the Cara N video. So I mean, I know we kind of got delayed with the technical issues at the start, so I don't want to delay too long. So I'm thinking we'll just start in. Makaru, if you join us, brother, just hop in on the chat. Let me know you're here. We'll probably go a little bit past the normal 7 o'clock, since I got off to a little bit late start. But yeah, if folks got to hop off and stuff like that, that's cool. Just let me know in the chat, so I'm just not talking to the wind. Anyway, let's get started. Let's go right to this first the first thing, which is the video for the Battle Under the Stars. So oops, I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong screen. There we go. Battle Under the Stars. Let's check it out. That said 1497 for the Year of the Trees. I realized that it was getting cut off there.
The only path that remained was the Accursed One, where the influence of Melkor was felt most. Helcaraxe. The perilous, icy wastes that formerly lay between Araman and Middle-earth in the far north of Arda. Yet after the War of Gods, all the land was broken, and Helcaraxe became an area of broken and shifting lumps of ice that was covering the northernmost parts of the Great Sea. And while the followers of Fingolfin struggled to cross the polar icebergs, tidings were at hand which none in Middle-earth had foreseen, for no news of the coming of the Noldor came from Arman. Feanor had come over the sea with a great force, and had landed in Drengist, a long firth which pierced the echoing hills of Ered Lormin, the western fence of the great land of Heathlum. And as soon as they had set foot on the ground, their cries rose to the hills and multiplied, so that the tumult of countless voices filled all the coasts of the north. Then Feanor burned the white fleet of the Teleri at Losgard, and the flames were seen by the orcs and the watchers of Morgoth. And the noise of the burning went down by the winds of the sea. Far and wide echoes spread, and the Sindar elves of Beleriand were filled with wonder. None could guess the tyrant's thoughts as he was brooding under Thangor Audrim, hearing that his bitterest foe had brought the host out of the west, thus delaying his campaign to conquer Beleriand. Although Morgoth had suffered defeat in the east, the Falas was falling under his siege, and there was no sight of Thingol Greymantle yet. Morgoth did not want to risk all his enemies uniting under one banner. His plan was to crush the Noldor by focusing on smaller elf forces before they could establish themselves and make an alliance with long-lost kin. An orc host that had occupied East Beleriand and besieged the havens of the Falas in the south was recalled to join the attack, thus ending the siege, while Melkor sent forth from Angband a vast army of 40,000 orcs in an attempt to surprise the Noldor over passes in the Mountains of Shadow. When the host of Fëanor had passed from the shores into the inner regions of Hithlum, they marched to the lake of Mithrim at the northern end of the mountains of Mithrim, where they encamped. But of a sudden, under the cold stars, the host of Melkor, orcs and trolls and werewolves, came through the passes of Ered Wethrin and assailed the Noldor before their camp's defenses were completed. Thus began the second battle of the Wars of Beleriand, on the grey fields of Mithrim. And it was the first encounter of the might of Morgoth with the valor of the Noldor. Dagor Nuingiliath it is named, the battle under the stars, for darkness had dominion over Arda. Though the orcs greatly outnumbered the elves, they were unable to coordinate an attack and take advantage of their full combined power. The Noldor was strong and swift, and they turned the tide of the battle quickly, for they were empowered by the light of Aman that shone in their fair faces, and their swords were long and terrible. But the fatal blow to Morgoth's forces was delivered by the hitherto unknown Noldor cavalry, which charged from the hills upon the orcs. Wielding wondrous weapons and armor, driven by deadly anger, the Noldor routed their enemy, and a terrible slaughter ensued. In vain, many orcs fled back over the mountains, hoping to join with reinforcement armies from the south, but the Noldor pursued them even to the last orc. Orcs that were overwhelmed in Mithrim were now retreating northward through the great plain of Ardgallen, and Fëanor was close behind them in hot pursuit, chasing after them with a great part of the cavalry. When the armies of Morgoth finally united, they tried to resist the Noldor. But the path to the north was blocked by Celegor, the third son of Fëanor, who led his huntsmen and came down upon the enemy. Out of the hills near Aethel Sirion, his force drove the orcs to the fen of Serech. There the great hound Huan filled the orcs with terror, and they ran for their lives before him. But it was all in vain, for Celegorm was a great huntsman, and a friend of the Vala Orome, from whom, in the days of his glory, he had received Huan as a gift. From Orome he'd also learned his great skills with birds and beasts, and he could understand some of their languages. Trapped between Celegorm's forces and the fen of Serech, most of the orcs stood their ground in a great battle that lasted 10 days. Then terrible slaughter befell the orcs, and the ponds were stained with their black blood. All but few of them perished, but reckless in his wrath, Fëanor pursued them across the plain of Ardgallen. After seeing that victory had come, he charged on towards Angband, thinking to utterly defeat Morgoth himself and retrieve the Silmarils. Therefore, he left his armies behind, and with just a few soldiers around him, the tides were turning against him at the edge of Dor Daedeloth. As Balrogs poured forth from Thangorodrim, and surrounded him. Feanor fought mightily, hewing his foes even after receiving several wounds from Gothmog, Lord of Balrogs, until he was finally fatally wounded. Then the armies of his sons reached him, and the Orcs and Balrogs retreated.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Okay, Unreal Engine 5. Okay, Pixel Bay. Yep. I was wondering about that. Yes, I let the credits play because the folks who put this together deserve to get their moment to shine. Yes, I absolutely agree, Anthony. Yeah, that Balrog scene was pretty badass, and that song too. Yeah, wow, that was pretty freaking cool. Again, Makaru coming through with the awesomeness right there. I got nothing to add to that other than like that was pretty badass. I was wondering how exactly they were. Yeah, right. It like looked legit, and that's what I was wondering. Those battle scenes. I'm wondering, were they pulling clips from what was that game? There was that game. It was like a sort of like a RTS, real time strategy game set in Middle Earth. And I'm wondering if that's what they used to pull like those battle scene stuff with the elves and stuff, because that would explain why it's so in line with the established, aesthetic to the orcs and the elves. So if anyone knows, let me know, because that, yeah, like I said, I thought that was really cool. I like how they sort of gave you the overview, the tactical overview with the map, and let you know who was where and what was going on and what was the routes that were being taken. Yeah, that was pretty badass, I gotta say. These guys have not disappointed. The Tales of the Rings folks, obviously, you guys, if possibly Shadows of Mordor, I don't know. It could be. I know there was a. It's not a character based game. It's more of like an RTS, almost like Age of Empires ish game, but it was set in Middle Earth. And so all like the forces that you had at your disposal, whatever side you chose to be on, whether it be Elf, Numenorian, Mordor, Isengard, it would look sort of, it would have the same aesthetic as like the Peter Jackson films or some of the, excuse me, Nesmith artwork that's sort of famous. But yeah, I like the whole tactical aspect of it. They didn't just tell you, okay, here's a big fight, and then show you some pretty graphics. They showed you the map. They showed you things moving around and what was going on. So yeah, bravo, especially to Makaru, for sending that to me. The Battle for Middle Earth. Yes, thank you, Anthony. That was the game. So yeah, I'm assuming that's where they pulled those clips from, which is pretty badass that you could do that. I didn't know you could do that with that game. Otherwise, I probably would have made something similar. I know I've done similar videos for the flight sim community, and this is completely off topic, but yes, one of the things I do, a big flight simmer, in addition to being a fantasy and stuff like that guy. And I've done some videos on for flight simming stuff, where I've taken clips from the game. I didn't know that in the Battle for Middle Earth you would be able to pull clips like that, because that looked really, really good. So that was awesome. So thank you to Makaru for sending that along. And now let's get into this next one. I'm going to see if I can't just cue it up for you guys without letting things sort of happen. Obviously, you could hear that the advertisement for it sort of started right out of the gate. So let me get that out of the way. All right. I'm just trying to skip through the ad that's playing here. I don't want it to I don't want to stream an ad to you guys if I can avoid it. So I'm trying to avoid it. So let's see what we got here. Let this ad play. Okay, there we go. All right, so we can skip the ad. All right, perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right, so this is, and here, let me switch over to the right view. Okay, this is Song of the Kinslaying, Battle of Alqualande, and this is by Cara N. I've never heard of her. I was inspired by the 27 stanza cover of the Dwarven Song, and so I decided to try writing a lay of the kinslaying because it's one of the events in the Silmarillion that smote me to the heart. Yes, I am an elven geek, so good for her. So let's check it out. Let's listen to Cara N and the Song of the Kinslaying.
Festers but one, of which few speak. Of all our kind, there has been but one, whose spirit scorched like winter's sun, proud of eye and fey of heart. In our wounds his house plays grievous part. For some do say, when Miriel died, a fire flew,
I think that's not the right one.
and there he grew, his might, his wind. The Quendi counts our darkest sin. Dark was the night, the ships were white. Fëanor's name in blazes flame. Then Noldor's sons rose to his call, and in that moment a fearful pall fell on our kind. The game was set, and the sea elves pawns in it yet. Sensing the darkness that burned in him, they spurned his counsel, they spurned his sin. But woe the white ships of the Lord, that by the night would each be gone, till every bow met Noldor blade, to off one kin death's barricade.
All right, interesting. Yes, that was the correct one. I'm sorry about that. Let me see if I can't sort of show it what she's got here. She's got the lyrics here, but where the song started was sort of in that middle of that first like verse right there. So it sort of threw me for a second. So that's why I kind of thought we were off the mark there. Interesting. I was hoping for a little bit more orchestration in it. It was very much like a dirge, like a almost like some of those Irish dirge. Shady J, help me out here. You know Irish music better than I do. Is that like Irish dirge where you would have that sort of I don't want to say monotonous because that sounds like I'm knocking the music itself, but that sort of consistent sort of droning on with sort of like this melodic poem over it. Okay, so it is like a dirge. Okay, yeah. So this came across as like a dirge. I thought it would be something a little bit more orchestrated. It's interesting. Bardic style lament, yes, okay. Yes, definitely that. It definitely had that. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? I thought it was good. I mean, I'm not knocking it as being bad, like quality wise or musically. I just it's a little bit different than what I was expecting. I think that's what sort of caught me off guard there. I was hoping that there would be like some more orchestration, maybe some more violins, a string section going on there. But maybe that's just me and my own unrealistic expectations. But I mean, I thought it captured the sadness, I think, that would be involved with it, and the words are really nice. For a song about the kinslaying, the world has changed from days before, where the light past eastern shore burned with the brilliance of two trees. I Yavana Kementari. Um, Yay! Hey, Eraserhead, how you doing? Don't worry, we kind of had a technical difficulty at the start, so you missed our tales of the ring viewing of the battle under the stars, which was really really good, and we just got done listening to Kara N, who has a song called "The Song of the Kinslaying," the Battle of Alqualande, here on YouTube. So definitely, if you missed it and you want to check it out, go check out their channels. It's Kara N, like Cara space capital N, like right there. And check them out, as well as Tales of the Ring. You can check them out too. Their stuff is really, really good. Really, really good. So yeah, Song of the Kinslaying. I don't think. Well, I know you won't be disappointed with Tales of the Ring. I know for a fact you'll like that, Eraserhead. So far, we've been watching it for each of the live streams that we've done, and I'm in agreement with Macaru and others that it's done really, really good, really good. So go check it out. And Kara N's song is also really, really good. Again, it's very, very. It captures the mood that you would expect from elves in a song regarding the kinslaying. It is definitely what one would think of when hearing the title of The Lay of the Kinslaying, right? You would definitely expect the dirge that she did. Yes, I yeah, see, I'm sort of late to the game on that one, so I haven't caught any of the live streams. I just like, see, I'm looking at it from two different perspectives. So I look at it from the one perspective as a Tolkien fan, fantasy fan. I just love the creativity on display, and the fact that they're doing it right, right, as opposed to some $1 billion corporations that we won't mention. Right, they're doing it right. They're doing it justice. Right, and that's I'm looking at it from that perspective. The other perspective is as somebody who's got some filmmaking experience, visual effects experience, video editing, and so on and so forth. I look at it from that perspective, and again, I'm like, I know how much work is involved in some of it. I know, it's not just you just sit down, you record yourself narrating something or reading something, and then slapping some video game clips together and calling it a day. Like there's a lot of creative work and effort that's put into what they do. And so from both perspectives, I'm very impressed with that. But I'm a little bit late to the game, to be honest with you. I hadn't heard of their stuff until, on the behind the scenes, Macaru was like, dude, check this out and check this out. And I was just like, dude, you're just like swamping me with stuff, bro. And I started checking it out and I was just like, all right, this shit rocks. So, gotta hype these guys up because they deserve it and they earn it, and all the people involved with that stuff deserve the recognition. So excellent stuff. So and same thing goes for Kara N. Like she did it, her song is good. I like it. Again, like I said, it was a little bit different than what I was expecting. I was, and again, that might just be because I've sort of come to hear things like the Silmarillion sort of soundtrack that I had mentioned in a previous video that I had posted on the channel. More orchestrated stuff, but whereas hers was more of a dirge. But now that I've had some time to think about it and process it, I'm thinking she really captured the spirit of the kinslaying in her song. So bravo to her. Good on her. If you're interested, I would definitely consider subscribing to her. It's good stuff. It really is good stuff. So yeah. So that's some more of the awesome creative stuff that's coming out of the Tolkien fandom and the fantasy fandom as a whole. And I think it's just showing that, like, the Amazons and the Netflix and these billion-dollar companies, that are buying up these beloved IPs that we're fans of. We're not beholden to them, right? I hope this doesn't come across as self-promoting or anything, but me and a couple of friends started up a metal band, and we're actually going to write a concept album that tells the tale of the Silmarillion. Okay, dude, I grew up listening to like Iron Maiden, Pantera, Slayer, Metallica, and stuff. So you're talking to a metalhead, even though you wouldn't know it at first glance. Yes, I grew up on metal, so that is freaking awesome. And I don't mind a little self-promotion. That's why I'm mentioning it for everybody. Yeah, definitely, dude. If you do that, let me know. I have no problem hyping that up for you guys on my channel. Let me listen to it. Maybe we'll do like a live listening party or something like that when you guys are ready to premiere it and share it with people. I have no problem doing that. I think that's awesome. And I wish you guys all the best. As a guitarist and drummer myself, I can only imagine what mixing those two things, like metal and Tolkien and Silmarillion, the stuff that you could come up with. So good on you, bro. I'm looking forward to that one. Definitely keep me in the loop. Let me know when it's ready to give a listen to, and I will definitely I'll definitely give you guys a listen, and then I'll hype you up and promote it. Like, I got no problem with that. Like I said, that's sort of what I was talking about, was this whole thing of, the community, like our community of, Tolkien specifically, but as well as fantasy fans, Dungeons and Dragons, Dragonlance, Elder Scrolls, and stuff like that. The creativity coming out. Did Christopher Lee's metal include Middle Earth themes? I mean, it's weird because over the years, I've heard some stuff that I'm like, I've wondered about if there were certain things. Like, obviously everybody knows how Led Zeppelin incorporated, definite references to Mordor and Gollum and stuff like that in some of their famous works. Hey, what's up, Macaru? Glad you made it, buddy. Yeah, had some technical difficulties at the beginning, so if you initially encountered some issues finding the live stream, that was probably my fault, some technical difficulties. Glad you made it. We checked out Battle Under the Stars, and it's a resounding thumbs up from everybody. Everybody thought it was awesome. Thank you so much, and, keep sending me those links that you feel need to get seen and need to get shared out there. We also checked out Kara Ann's Song of the Kinslaying, Battle of Aqualande. And that one also, like I said, was a little bit different than what I initially imagined or was expecting. But the more time I've had to let it sink in, the more I'm like, I think she nailed the vibe, that whole dirge and stuff like that. Yeah, no, like, dude, take your time, put as much polish on it as you want. Like, do what you got to do. But like I said, definitely, yeah, it's gonna be. I've worked on concept albums before. They're not easy to sort of have a concurrent theme yet individual songs, but definitely, like I said, when you guys are ready, let me know, and I will definitely make space to make sure that your stuff gets promoted out there and the word gets spread for you guys. I think that's awesome. Yeah, I don't know about Stairway to Heaven in particular. According to the clock on my software, it's been 34 minutes, but it's gonna go a little bit past 7 my time, only to make, because we were about 10 minutes behind in starting, so there was some technical difficulties. So there was like a 10-minute delay in getting started. So I'm gonna go a little bit. I'm going to try and make up for that time on the back end. Like I said, if people got to drop off, I understand, Anthony, it's the middle of the night for you. If people got to drop off, that's cool. No worries. I completely understand. I just figured the least I could do is give you guys the hour that I promised to give you, right? So I'm going to do that. Anyway, so yeah, I don't know if Stairway to Heaven, I know there's a couple of songs specifically that mention Mordor and Gollum. and I even think Galadriel, but I could be wrong. It's been a lot. It's been a while since I've listened to Led Zeppelin. My ex was a big Zeppelin fan, so once we broke up, I sort of moved away from Zeppelin for a while. I'm more of a Pink Floyd guy. Battle of Evermore. That's it. Thank you. And Ramble On. Yes. I was thinking Battle of Evermore. But yes, so yes, I do know Zeppelin's included some Tolkien references and inspiration in their stuff. I think Robert Plant specifically mentioned that Tolkien was a big influence when they were writing a lot of their stuff. I've often wondered about like getting more towards I meant connecting without being too direct, but everyone was fine. Yeah. I've often wondered because Iron Maiden, like for you guys who Iron Maiden, the metal band. Okay, see that it's okay. Rush, I didn't know they had a song called Rivendell, but then again, I've never really been big into Rush other than their more popular stuff. But I'm gonna have to check that out now. But I've often wondered like bands like Iron Maiden, right? Because Iron Maiden stuff tends to be you just think of it as a heavy metal band, but then the more like you look at the lyrics and the things that they're singing about, things like Rime of the Ancient Mariner, and they've got a whole song. I think it's To Tame a Land, which is based on Dune, like on the Dune novels. So I'm sure they've got some Tolkien references in somewhere in their stuff, in their catalog of music somewhere. I've never taken the time out to actually see if they flat out mention him or if there's stuff that you could sort of draw the comparison. But yeah, I think don't think Maiden has ever done Lord of the Rings, but To Tame a Land is about exactly. No. Like I said, I grew up huge. Actually, I learned to play the drums by playing along to Iron Maiden albums and Metallica albums. That's what I used to practice to. So yeah, so I know a lot of their stuff. That's why I knew To Tame a Land is about Dune. I mean, anybody who could work the words, he is the Kwisatz Haderach and will take the Gom Jabbar, into a lyric that doesn't sound too goofy. I mean, come on. Oh, nice. Well, I don't know where you are, Racerhead, but if you're anywhere near the East Coast and stuff like that of the U.S., hit me up and stuff like that. Yeah, I've been playing. Oh my God, I've been playing the drums since I was 14. So we're going back to 1985-ish, 84-ish. So yeah. But yeah, I know a lot of music has taken inspiration from Tolkien and his works, and I think it's awesome when you come across those gems. In this particular live, we only did Macaru. We only did the Song of the Kinslaying by Kara N, and we started with Battle Under the Stars. I didn't want to sort of shoot through too much in one shot. I know there's other music videos. I hate to say that because that sounds like very MTV-ish, but there's other like song-based videos. I mean, we do. Like I said, I just didn't want to just go through and sort of just like we're just gonna hit video after video after video. I wanted to see, get some interaction, see what you guys think. We could chat about stuff. I also wanted to touch base on a couple other things. For those who may have showed up late, one of the things I mentioned is I've been working a lot with AI generated imagery lately, because I've been helping Mrs. J Just J with her book, and I've sort of been trying to come up with some of the imagery to go along as part of the presentation package for her book. I guess I'll jump to that subject now. One of the things that she's been doing, she's reached out to a sort of agent/publisher. So communications are starting now on that side of things. So one of the things I've been doing as she's been writing this novel, because it's part of a trilogy of novels, is I've sort of been coming up with artwork and illustrations on some of the stuff that she's come up with. She's come up with some maps and stuff like that, taking a very Tolkien approach to her book. Good. It's good. More time to make more lives and give material to interact with your subscribers with, and more. Yes, absolutely. Yes. You are correct, Macaru. Yeah, like I said, I like the feedback, the interaction with you guys. And yes, ma'am, Shady J. Yes, concept art. Yes, she is definitely taking a sort of Tolkien approach because, like, for instance, one of the things she's done, and as a Tolkien fan, I sort of sat back and was like, yeah, was because she's got elves, like certain, like the wood elves, not direct copies of Tolkien's elves, obviously, but general concepts like wood elves, sea elves, sort of high elves, which would be, I guess, be more like Galadriel-esque, Elrond-esque type elves. And she's actually come up with I don't want to say like the whole language, but words. She's come up with words and phrases that these elves would use in an elvish language, like an elvish language that's not just, plucking Tolkien created words out of thin air. It's keeping in that vein, but also being original about it, right? So not sort of just like trying to steal from Tolkien in any way and stuff like that, but definitely inspired by. So as like I said, as a Tolkien fan, that was one of those things when she was like, "Hey, I've got these list of words and I want to include this sort of little mini dictionary at the back of the book so that people understand where these phrases are, like slang terms for like dad or mother or darling and stuff like that." Well, thanks, Macaru. Awesome. So she came to me and she was like, do you think I should, include stuff? And I was just like, hell, I was like, you can never go wrong with doing world building, with adding depth and breadth to the world that you're creating, right? Like we've all seen fantasy stuff that has good potential, but they just sort of keep it surface level, and after a while you're like, but she's not taking that approach. She's like, giving it depth, like the world will feel lived in. When you're reading this book, it's not going to be just like, oh, the world is just these characters and what's going on. You will understand, much like with Tolkien stuff, that there's a world that you're just getting your first glimpse into. Adrian von Ziegler created Hydra, and hundreds of us can speak it fluently within our communities, even in real life. Yes. And yeah, absolutely, it does grow unexpected branches. Like Indra. Okay, yes, yeah. Like I said, I thought it was great that the fact that she was taking the time out to do stuff like that. I think it's that level of putting in that effort. Often gets overlooked or forgotten. Especially, you got a lot of these authors, they just want to pump something out because they think like, oh, I can pump this out, it'll get picked up by something like the CW or the WB and stuff like that, and then turn into this like, young high school kids in a magic school, like Harry Potter meets Dawson's Creek type stuff. And they don't really go below the surface, but I like the fact that her stuff is high fantasy and is very in depth. Like I said, she's included sort of snippets of a language that are there, and is looking at putting appendices where she explains what this word means, how to pronounce it, proper pronunciation and stuff, as well as maps and locations. So on that note, one of the things I wanted to share with you guys was some of the artwork that I've been doing, the concept artwork that I've been doing for her stuff. So I'm gonna bring this up here. Okay, so there we go. This is all original artwork that you guys are seeing for the first time. This is the first time anybody's seeing this. This is a piece of artwork that I did for a location that she has. It's called Kotlisaur Grove, and there's a significant confrontation happens between some characters. Again, I don't want to give too much of the story away, but there is a confrontation that happens, that's unexpected, that happens at this location. So I just wanted to sort of give an illustration so that she would have or people would have a better point of reference for what this is. Another piece of art that I did was, this is the capital city of one of the three main alliances / kingdoms. This is the city of Farador, which is the capital city of the Dakar Triumvirate, which is one of the three main factions in the book. And this is their main city, Farador. So I did that artwork as well. This is the port city of Seeds, which, and you can correct me, Shady J, is an elvish port city. So I sort of was going for an elvish port look with the whole vibe. So I just thought it was cool. And let's see. Oh, this is a location known as the ruins of Ustium or Ostium, which oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it. This is just it's think in terms of like Weathertop, right? It's not integral to the story, but it is in the world, right? And that was part of the thing I was saying, sort of fleshing out the world, right? Let's see. Next thing. Oh, this is a temple. This is a temple to one of the three factions is the Adwevial Empire, which are run by elves. And they're if I'm sorry, the Breorian Empire, sorry, which are not run by elves. They are run by a the Brays or the Breorians. And this is a temple to the goddess Iris, who's one of their main deities that they worship is this goddess Iris. And so this is the main temple of Iris in the Breorian Empire. This is the map that she came up with, and this is hey, that last one looked a bit like the Air Sea or perhaps some parts of the giant Numenor. Yeah. And Anthony, thanks for the comment about the ships. And yeah, again, obviously the inspiration's there, but this is a map that she came up with, all on her own. This is the continent of Temuin. I'm just trying to see if I can't muck this about without screwing it up. There you go. So that's the continent of Temuin, which is that main continent there. There's also the Unknown Lands, which will probably make an appearance in a later book. Yeah, she took a lot of time in doing this, and like you could see, like there's detail there. Like it isn't just like she just like, you know, half-assed it. Like, you know, a lot of work is being put into this. You know, it's being taken seriously. So, yeah. Well, if the first book does pretty good, and you know, and you know, the second and third ones, you know, who knows where our heroes will end up. But I can't speak for her story. So, but yeah, so that's the map that she did. This is a city. This is the elven town of Baylight. Okay, and there is a sort of large lake, think like one of the U.S. Great Lakes, in the Elven Empire, Adwevial Empire's territory, and this is one of the main. This is just a sort of rendering of a city or some buildings in part of the Elven city of Baylight. Yeah, well, good. That's the whole point, Macaru. Don't do what Tolkien did and make his unknown lands remain. No. I think they're there because it's going to be someplace that characters go to. This is the Falls of Ulinan. They are on the border between the Dakar Triumvirate and the Adwevial Empire. These are some of the falls. Again, just illustrations that I've been doing. I'm just trying to think. Oh, this is a location known as the Gloom Fields. It is a sort of it's on the northwestern coast of the Dakar Triumvirate, and it's like the Dead Marshes, but not. Yes, the name does sound Sindarin. Yes. Well, again, my initial starting point was Dead Marshes, but it's not. It doesn't have the same backstory as the Dead Marshes. It's not like an old battlefield or something like that. There's other stuff going on, but I wanted it to have that same vibe as the Dead Marshes when I came up with the illustration for it. As far as a release date, I don't have that information yet because, like I said, she's just started reaching out to potential agents / publishers. So we got to see how that's going to play out, or if it's going to be a self-publishing project. So that's still up in the air and being discussed, and people contacting people and having Zoom meetings and stuff like that. So I can't give you an ETA on the release date, but I do know that it's been through several revisions already. She's already done several revisions of it. it's in what I would consider a just about complete format. I mean, it still has to be gone over with an editor and so on and so forth, but it's very good, very far along in the process. So yeah, this is the Gloomfields, and this is the Shrouded Plains, which I wanted to sort of be very reminiscent of sort of Mordor-ish, if that seems similar. Because the Shrouded Plains, it's sort of where there was this historic, like, uh, natural disaster happened there, and it's sort of like scarred the land in this area. And yeah, so I wanted this to be very Mordorish in its sort of vibe. So I just sort of gave it that very desolate look to it. And this, I think, is the last one. And this is the port city of, and Shady J, correct me if I'm wrong here, Wayreth or Wereth, which is a port town. It's not so much a city; it's more of a port town. More dork. Just kidding. Yeah, I got no. I'll own it. Yes, more dorkish. I like that. That should be a shirt, dude. I should just get a shirt with like Mount Doom on it and just say, more dorkish. Um, I think that would be awesome. Yeah, werewolf. Merc. Yep, exactly. So yeah, so this is where we're Werewolf Shady J. Help me out here. Um, which is a port town. So those are some of the illustrations that I've been doing for the book that Shady J. Wyruth. Okay, thank you. Art looks so good. I'm about to ask you to do our album cover once we have the album done. Dude, send me an email. Shoot me I have no problem with that, dude. Like, I got no issue with that. Why Ruth? Why? um, yeah, erase ahead. Shoot me an email. It's cutter1@gmail.com. And yeah, definitely we could talk about that, bro. Absolutely not a problem. Um, yes, why Ruth? I like that. Why Ruth? Why? Um, so yeah, so that's some of the artwork that I've been working on for that. Okay. So okay, let me just bring up the other piece of artwork I wanted to bring up. All right, let me just close that out. Okay. All right. So, okay, like I mentioned earlier, for those that were here. So, in addition to that, I've been thinking about changing the profile picture for the channel here, right? Because, I'm not so full of myself that I think like, oh, people need to see my mug, right? You guys stare at me doing the videos all the time. You don't need to see a picture of me to know it's my channel, right? So I figured I wanted to get some sort of logo done, right? Some sort of imagery for the channel. So I came up with a couple ideas. They're very, very, very Tolkien inspired. And there was two ideas I was going with. One was Mount Doom, okay, and the other was sort of the Shire, right? And so I just came up with these real quick pieces of artwork. There's only 5 of them, but I want you guys to let me know which one you think should be the profile picture for the channel. So let's get to the first one here. Okay. So this is the first one I came up with. As you can see, very, very inspired by Tolkien, including the lettering, although it's regular English lettering. It's not actually, Tengwar or any of the it's just a font that looks like it. So that was the first one that I came up with. Okay, so we'll go by numbers. Okay, so for those of you following along, this is number 1. When I get through all 5, you guys in the chat just put which number do you think it should be, and the number that gets the most responses, that's the one we'll go with. All right, so this is number 1. Okay, so number 2 is this one. Okay, as you can see, very much Lord of the Rings inspired there, right? Very Mount Doom. Okay. So this is number 2. Okay. So let's go on to number 3. This is number 3. Okay. Oopsie. Oopsie. There we go. Number 3. Okay. Number 4. This is number 4. This is the ones where I said very Hobbiton, very Shire. Okay. That's number 4. Okay. And here's the last one, number 5. Okay. And this is number 5. Okay. Just to let you guys know. So I could. So, all right. So you've seen all 5 of them now using numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which one do you okay. I know Macaru, you're talking about maybe using them for Hobbit Week. All right. So what do you guys think? Which one should be the main one that stays the same? Maybe the Hobbit, the Shire ones. You're thinking 1, 4, and 5, first or second. Could you show number 1 and 2 again? Absolutely. Okay. So 5, 4, 3, 2. That's number 2. Okay, that's number 2. Mag has spoken. And that's number 1. So for the profile pic. So it seems to me that between Eraserhead, Anthony, Macaroon, 1 seems to be in the lead, I would assume. Everyone. Okay, and Shady J as well. Definitely number 1. Okay, so we got 1, 2. All right. All right. The people have spoken. All right, so number 1, this one will become the new profile picture for the channel, so you won't have to see my ugly ass with my sunglasses anymore. I will later on tonight or first thing tomorrow morning, I will swap it out with this picture, number 1. But I am going to use for like Hobbit Week and so on and so forth. I am going to keep those other ones in my back pocket just in case. So yeah, the sunglasses one is like, well, I mean, I don't know. Again, my ego's not so fragile that I'm like, oh yeah, I need to have a picture of me on my channel so people know it's me because it's me. It's like, no, you guys stare at me while I ramble on about, stupid articles or Rings of Power being asinine. So, I mean, you know what I look like, so you don't need to see a picture of me. So, all right. So this will be the picture that will become the profile picture. Thank you very much. We like staring at you. Yes. Okay. You know what? I may actually go back and try to hit up a prancing pony. I may actually do that. Cause yeah, that's actually good. I'm writing it down. So prancing. Okay. Yes. Prancing pony. The inn from Rings of Power is prancing pony. Yes. Nice. Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I take that as a compliment. Is it F or PH? No, it would be the PH. Yes, the Rings of Power, the prancing phony. Absolutely, it would be the PH. I think the F is just for the show in general as a whole. But yes, I will definitely do a prancing pony pick, and then I will share it with you guys here. I don't know, maybe I might even put it in the community section. I'll sort of make it a more artsy, just prancing pony thing, and then if you guys want to download it and use it however you want, I'll just put it in the community section. This way, you guys can just copy it and keep it. But yes, the prancing phony, I like that. I'm gonna have to look at the chat, go back and look at it because there's a couple of good ideas here in this chat. Have a whole bunch of ROP gets a big fat F by Timmy Turner's professor. Yeah, it's true. ROP just gets a big fat F. But that's another side. I don't want to bring it down by bitching about that show. Talking about it as little as possible is always good. I mean, I know we're going to have to, and it's going to be a topic that's going to get revisited over and over again. But if I can avoid staining the conversation and the mood, I will. but that's just me. But yes, okay. So thank you. So we have now the picture that will be the profile picture. I will take care of that right away, and I will keep the other ones for Hobbit Week, and so on and so forth. And thank you for that. In terms of the book, so Chris just talking about it gets bad reviews. It's true. It's true. The greatest thing RRP did was bring Tolkien fans. Exactly. You know what? And that's a good point, Eraser. Can I call you Eraser? I think we're at that point now. I can just call you Eraser, right? Just like I no longer say Macaru 112. I'm just like, hey Mac, like or just Macaru. But yes, the sunglasses pick, I don't know. Maybe one day when I hit 1,000 subscribers, maybe I don't know. I'll do something with it. I'll have somebody like I'll do a live stream where I'll Photoshop it and make myself look goofy or something. Give myself like Dobby ears from Harry Potter or something. I don't know. Just I don't know. I'll think of something. Well, that's true. Yes, and like I was gonna say that is something that's come out. I think, despite the nature of the show and what it is, right, and all the negativity that's come along with it, and there has been tons, right, a metric boatload. You mean the sunglasses picture, Shady? Put on a shirt? I don't know if anyone wants to walk around with my ugly bug on a shirt. My friend and I decided to give writing the album a shot. Well, good for you. Definitely, Eraser. Good for you. Elf ears are Dobby ears for sure. Yes. Gilgalad ears were giant and thick. Yeah. Maybe I should do that. Maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe when we hit 1,000, what I'll do is I'll do a live stream where I'll drag that photo into Photoshop, and I'll try and make myself look like some jacked up, janky version of like Legolas. Like I'll do like the long platinum blonde hair thing with my sunglasses and Dobby ears, and then put it on a shirt, and we'll call it more dorkish. That'll be the thing. It'll be more dorkish. Aragorn. No, trust me, I'm not in the I'll wear it on the live. Sure, why not? Like, I have, I'm rocking an Elder Scrolls shirt right now. And I have tons of stuff like this, like little shirts that are, sort of say that I'm a dork without saying I'm a dork. Right. But yes, definitely ideas to keep in mind for when the channel hits 1,000. But like I was saying, yes, that is probably the only good thing that's come out of the Rings of Power is, like Eraser said, it's inspired him and his band to want to create sort of Tolkien-based material within their art form, i.e. music, that is faithful to Tolkien stuff. It's done the same thing in terms of with starting this channel. It's also and being the realist that I am, it's shed a light on some things. Like I said, there's a lot of channels that I follow that I was sort of disappointed in because they were very, very vocal and very prominent in the yeah. Dobby is free. Yes. I like that idea, Macaru. I definitely like that idea. But one of the things that I was saying was that there's a lot of other channels that were very vocal in the sort of complaining about Rings of Power and how it was, desecrating Tolkien's work and his memory and his lore and what he created. And I was very, very much inspired by a lot of those channels. But it also shined a light because a lot of those bigger channels that were doing that were very quick to move on to the next thing when it no longer became a source to generate clicks. They moved on to the next big story in the entertainment cycle, which to me sort of early on when I had just started the channel was sort of like disheartening, but it actually gave me the reason to want to stick to it and push even harder and sort of not hold back as much. Because early on I was sort of trying to play it safe. Now I just don't give a shit. As you could tell, I'll curse during the thing. I have no problem with that. and it was because I saw a lot of these channels that had inspired me to want to do a YouTube channel, because of Rings of Power, and they sort of moved on to the next thing and just sort of left this fandom to like fend for itself. And I was just like, well, if these channels that have hundreds of thousands of subscribers and stuff like that, if they're just gonna hop on the bandwagon when it's generating a lot of clicks and views for them, and then they're gonna move on to the next thing, I was like, somebody needs to stay here, sort of plant the flag, if you will, of fandom, and hold the ground, and that's what I wanted the channel to be, and it sort of brought things into focus for me, as well as inspired me to want to create more sort of art, like you're seeing with these illustrations that I'm doing for Shady J's book, and wanting to create art for the channel, and stuff like that. And so, it if anything, Rings of Power, despite all the crap that it's brought to the world of Tolkien and Tolkien fandom, it's brought some good. It's inspired people, and channels like, like it's inspired my channel, like channels like Men of the West, Tolkien Untangled are, more prominent now because of it. People like Eraser and his band, are creating more new material that holds to the lore and the worlds that Tolkien created and stuff like that. So there has been some good, I will say that. I'll crack good jokes about ROP anytime I want. Yes, you can. Inspiring us to do it ourselves and pay. Yes, absolutely. I think, whatever your chosen form of art is, be it painting, computer graphics, filmmaking, photography, music, whatever, by all means, do it, and get it out there. And like I said, and you guys know this, I have absolutely no issue using this channel, my platform, to promote other people's stuff. It's not just about me. I am not the end all be all of Tolkien fandom, right? There's thousands of us, of all shapes, sizes, colors, creeds, and we run the spectrum of everything. And by all means, if we're going to create good stuff, that's rooted in the lore and in the history and in the work that Tolkien created, I got no problem amplifying other people's voices, just to help improve this community of ours. So yes, a band named More Dorkish. I love that idea. I think they should include a what the hell is it? I can't remember what the Weird Al Yankovic. The oh God, what's that instrument with the? It's like a little piano with the. Mount Doofus is the ROP mountain that exploded like a chia plant. Yes, and bukakied all over Galadriel, who did not even bat an eye. She had nothing but Cheeto dust in her hair afterwards. Oh my God. What the hell is it? Accordion. Thank you. Because apparently, me and English are having this argument lately where it's just refusing to cooperate. Yes, accordion. I think a band named More Dorkish should definitely have somebody dressed as Sauron, who plays the accordion in it. Absolutely. I would pay good money to see that. Hell, I would literally live broadcast from one of their shows, just to share that with the world. I think a band called More Dorkish with somebody playing the accordion dressed as Sauron is comedy gold. And I would definitely pay to see that. But yeah, I mean, like I said, inspiring people to do it right. Yes, you know what? It would be awesome. I would definitely be a fan of any band that did that. So inspiring people to create stuff has done a lot for me since Tolkien's work has done more than just save my life, touch my soul like it did millions around the world. Well, thank you, Makaru. I appreciate that, and I appreciate all the things, because like I said, Makaru, you've been great, bro. Reaching out to me behind the scenes, being like, dude, check this out, dude, check this out, dude, check this out. And I love it, because like I said, there's things I was never privy to until I got into this, and decided to share with the rest of the community. So keep it up, Macro, because your track record is spotless so far. You are doing awesome, because with this Tales of the Ring stuff that you're sending me and some of these music videos, on point, dude. Excellent, excellent. So thank you for that. Like a band that has some other instruments than the classical lineup would be awesome. Yes, I think a kazoo, an accordion, a tambourine, and a cowbell have to be included. Okay, definitely have to be included in a band called More Dorkish, and they have to dress up like the characters. God damn, like I want to do that now just for like shits and giggles, right? I think that would be awesome. But yeah, I think you could play like the Renaissance Festival circuit, right? Um, uh, what you or Ennio does for Tolkien in this way really is beautiful and will immortalize itself, because the heart is pure and Tolkien would love it. Well, thank you. Yes, I appreciate that. Yes, yeah, um, yeah. Again, like I said, I spent too much time watching, other fandoms that I was a part of and a big part of, get gutted and destroyed and torn apart by big, billion-dollar corporations who gave not a single shit as to the damage they were doing to what was once a great, thriving, inclusive community. And these corporations come along and completely ruin it. They destroy the artistic element of it, turn fans against other fans, create rifts where there doesn't need to be any. And it upsets me, and so I wanted to do something to help not let that happen here with Tolkien. I seen it with my Star Wars, I seen it with my Star Trek, Doctor Who. I just didn't want it to happen here, and so this is where this was my line in the sand. And hopefully others will see it that way too. Yes, a parody concept album called The Untold Tales of Fatty Bulger. Yes, I'm expecting to see some work on that, Eraser. That would be freaking amazing. Yes, and it does end with touching Tolkien, Mac. It definitely does. Yes, Frank Zappa-esque, absolutely. Yes, yes. Yes, I do too. They always say, pride comes before the fall, right? And I think that's what we're going to be looking at here. But in the meantime, we have to stay vigilant. Like, they're going to spin it. They're going to have their minions. And when I say minions, I mean the shill press, right? The press that's in it for getting, invites to things and getting to access to things, beforehand, before the general public. They're going to, do Amazon's bidding, much like, say the Witch King and the Nazgul for Sauron, right? If Amazon Sauron, the mainstream press, people like Screen Rant, comicbook.com, CBR, and stuff like that, are like the Nazgul, right? They're gonna do whatever Sauron tells them to do, right? In this case, Sauron is as Amazon, and it's up to us to hold the line, to say, enough is enough. Like, we know your routine. We know your methods of operation and how you destroy these once good, beautiful things. And we're not letting it happen here. Like, we draw the line with Tolkien. And like I said, I have no problem being accused of gatekeeping. I am gatekeeping. I do not want people who are looking to turn the Tolkien that we all love into the Tolkien of Rings of Power. I refuse to let that happen without a fight. That's just me. Call me whatever names you want. I don't care. That's just where I'm coming from. Let's see. Hey, that guy. Yes, the guy who does the Gandalf deepfakes. I've seen that. Yes, he needs to be on stage too. Well, we should have him be the MC for the concert. Before the. Yes, I hope so. Uh, I I think so. I think so. I saw the one that George the Giant Slayer did. I think it was Lord of the Karens or the Rings of the Karens or something like that. That short that he did where he sort of did a parody on it. If that's the one you're talking about. If not, I will have to look it up. But I have seen the guy who does the deep fakes with Gandalf. He also does Tyrion from Game of Thrones, deep fakes as well. So I have seen that, and yes, they are good. We should have him be the MC for the concert. The more dorkish concert. I think that would be amazeballs. And I don't know why I just said amazeballs like I'm some 12-year-old girl in California. Okay, yes, definitely Macaru. Email it to me. Definitely email it to me. All right. On that note, guys, I think we've gone the extra almost 20 minutes now because of the late start, because of the technical difficulties. Again, I want to apologize for that. That was all me. I had things set up wrong on my PC. I don't know why I had bothered to change them. Everything was working fine, but I think during the week I was trying to sort of streamline some stuff, and I forgot to put settings where they needed to be, and I screwed it up. So the delay was my fault, and I apologize for that, especially to you, Anthony, because I know it's really like middle of the night time for you. So I apologize for that. I will do better. In terms of everything else, Macaru, keep those emails coming to me, bro. Like I said, your track record is spotless with your recommendations to stuff. Eraserhead, if you want, email me about that artwork for your band, or the album. I have no problem. I'll do that for you. Just hit me up behind the scenes. I'll get to work on it. Just give me some idea. We'll discuss it. Like I said, if you want to hit me up in the email and stuff like that, just give me a rough idea, sort of what you're going for, and then we'll take it from there. And I may toy with the idea of like some ideas for merch. I mean, again, I'm not in this for the money, so I really haven't thought in terms of that, which is why you don't hear me sitting there going, check out my Patreon, guys. But at the same time, I mean, I don't know. I consider myself a good cause. I have no problem funding a good cause if it's some merch that makes fun of Rings of Power and has a good time doing it, right? Yes, we will definitely have clever merch. If anything, it will be fun. That is for sure. Showing that fans standing together makes a difference, gives hope for Tolkien fans. Absolutely. And that's the whole point at the end of the day, bro, Anthony. That is the whole point at the end of the day, is to let everybody know that, it's not just you who feels this way. There's thousands, if not millions of us. I would go so far as to say millions based on the reactions that Rings of Power got, that are like, no, you pushed it too far, and now we're fighting back, and we're not giving an inch. I'm not giving an inch. I feel like we are at the gates of Minas Tirith, and we're looking out as Amazon and its forces are coming across Pelennor Fields, and we're like, you know what? We're not backing down. We're just not backing down. This is where we make our stand, right? So anyway, all right, guys, I'm going to let y'all go. We've been doing a $1:20 or an hour 20 now to make up for the lost time. So I will change the profile pic. Thank you guys for deciding on that one. As long as if there's any news on when Shady J's book, The Knights of Temuin, the Crimsonborn trilogy, if there's any movement on that in terms of a publisher or whatever routes get decided on, I will definitely let you guys know. I will be back here next week. There's not going to be any videos tomorrow, but there will be on Monday, right? I'm just going to take tomorrow off because, it's Sunday and, I need time to recoup as well. Anyway, guys, I will see you all next week. Thank you for checking in, Anthony, Macaru, Eraserhead. I'm trying to think. Diane? I don't want to mispronounce anybody's name. I always get nervous that I'm going to screw up people's names. I'm just going through and making sure I didn't miss anybody. Not really, because I don't have a whole bunch of people that follow me yet, so I'm not missing it. Yes, Diane K. So yes, I want to make sure I got that right. Anyway, I will talk to you guys during the week. I will have more videos coming out on Monday, and we will do this live stream again next Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern. I will make sure that everything is in working order before I get started, so there's no delays. All right, guys. Until then, be good, be safe, be awesome, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.